Hello, my name's T, and I wanted to do a movie review about Exodus, Gods and Kings, 2014 movie, kind of a remake of the Ten Commandments or the Bible story Exodus, about Moses and Pharaoh and Ramses and the Jews. I was looking at reviews online and I didn't really see any by girls, and I can understand not all girls are really into movies like I am, but I'm kind of a movie nerd, and so I wanted to just go ahead and make a review for people like me. So I went to see it today, and I was kind of disappointed in how Ridley Scott made this movie. He's like a really good movie maker, but this time it was mostly just visuals and not much substance as far as storytelling and casting, and I guess it makes sense because I think he's supposed to be declared as agnostic or not really believing in God. So it's kind of hard to make a good religious movie if you're not really religious. So it felt like he was making this movie as more of like a story of, some kind of myth, and not really like a important Bible story that a lot of people know about. So at first the movie started off, it was pretty good. The visuals were really good. It was kind of more of an action and beginning to the movie when you get Christian Bale fighting a bunch of guys, and you kind of get into it, and then you see Ramses, and he's got blue eyes, which kind of is weird to me because I didn't think Egyptians, especially the Pharaoh or the soon-to-be Pharaoh, is gonna have blue eyes, and for me that kind of messes things up because it makes the story not as believable if he has blue eyes and he's supposed to be Egyptian. But that's just one little thing that bothers me. I kind of hate it when people take away from like original stories. But anyways, I mean, he's a good actor and all, but I don't think he's the best Ramses by far. I think Yul Brynner was like way more believable in the 1950s version of the same story called The Ten Commandments by Cecil B. DeMille. So if you get a chance to watch that one, I would watch that one to get a better idea of how this story was supposed to go, because the Exodus version of this year, 2014, was kind of a poopy story, just because it didn't really explain a lot of things. It was great for visuals. It had good potential for an epic movie and had great actors like Sigourney Weaver and Christian Bale and Ben Kingsley and Joel Edgerton, but it didn't really deliver on the story part because maybe it was because it was edited out, but they should have explained why for certain things, like why was Moses leading everybody into the desert for 40 years? Why did they have all these plagues? And it wasn't really clearly explained. Instead of Moses going in front of the whole Egyptian royal court declaring his, ultimatum to Ramses about, letting his people go versus having all these plagues, he didn't really go into that. He kind of snuck into his house and, kind of like a burglar, and kind of threatened him, saying his God told him to do it. Just kind of made him look like a crazy person, just, trying to threaten the Pharaoh. And also the details of the movie kind of made it kind of annoying. Like the accents in this movie, my gosh, there were so many accents. I think I felt like there was an Indian accent as like Ramses' wife, and Christian Bale's wife sounded like South American, and then like the little kid who played God was like British. I mean, that doesn't sound like a big deal, but it kind of makes the story unbelievable. And oh, that was another thing. The whole portrayal of God as a little kid, it kind of killed it for me, just because, anytime you have God, even if you don't believe in that God or any God on TV, it should be like a bigger than life, character, and like a, mighty, powerful kind of presence, not some little bratty kid that's, screaming, and you think that, you need to spank him or scold him to like be quiet, because it's kind of insulting to people who do believe in God to portray him as this little kid who's, screaming at Christian Bale the whole time about this and that, and instead of like this booming voice that was in the original Ten Commandments movie. And apparently Ridley Scott made the little kid like drink tea throughout the movie. It was kind of ridiculous to me. It didn't really make, the whole point of the story, which is, a biblical story of God, into a believable story with the little kid acting as God. So that was kind of annoying every time I saw the little kid show up. I saw a review that said that he looked more like a little bratty kid from Lord of the Flies than somebody who could play God. So they shouldn't have made that part of the movie. Another part of the movie they shouldn't have made is the very end, the whole omitting of the, parting of the Red Sea with the wave of Moses' hand. That didn't even happen, which is kind of a big part of the whole story. Neither did the column of fire that was supposed to happen, but didn't. And instead they threw in a tornado, which isn't the same thing. And then the whole, at the end, sorry, this has spoilers, but where Ramses and Pharaoh kind of met in the middle of the water while the water was about to wash them away. They shouldn't be there together. Ramses and Christian Bale should have died from that, but apparently, Ridley Scott didn't think so. So they both end up surviving, which is kind of weird. They shouldn't even they could have just cut out that whole scene where, they were sitting in their horses while the whole wave was about to hit them. Kind of pointless. Again, another pointless thing, Sigourney Weaver, she's like an amazing actress, and she had like maybe like 1 or 2 lines in the whole movie. Like, why? Like, they could have used her for so many things. And then same thing with Ben Kingsley. He was like a really good actor in so many other movies, and then, they didn't really use him to the full potential. He could have been, the Pharaoh, the original Pharaoh, or, one of the bigger parts. He did have a sort of big